Time is an illusion, is illusory. And therefore this moment is nirvana now. And therefore our future nirvana is now. And I remember, it's so funny, even probably after 15 years of being involved in this whole thing and thinking that I really was like up with it, I remember when I read in the Flower Ornament Sutra, translated by Thomas Cleary, and there's a vision in the beginning where the Buddha turns himself blue, like the medicine Buddha, but he's not being medicine Buddha. He turns himself blue when he does medicine Buddha too. You know, he's sitting there, suddenly he turns like sapphire color. But he does that when he becomes Buddha Vairochana, sort of cosmic Buddha. And then a light emits from his forehead, from the little, what's called the urna. He has this little tuft of white hair on the sort of cosmic Buddha's forehead. And that often emits lights at auspicious moments. Does special effects, you know. It's an artist, you know. He does a performance art. So this light emitted, and when everyone saw that light, everyone had this amazing sensation where they immediately remembered all of their infinite past lives. Like, it just means like that, like that, you know, it's like it sort of disappeared. They kind of knew it all. Obviously, they didn't get stuck in it. Then they knew all their future lives between the moment they received that light and they saw themselves becoming Buddhas. And they saw themselves as Buddhas. And they saw themselves then manifesting as Buddhas, you know, being born a prince and growing up and having the moment under the tree with the father and then having a beautiful time with their harem and then falling in love with their beautiful wives and then having the children and then becoming like a macho ascetic and then becoming a Buddha and then teaching and then passing into parinirvana. They see all of that, every being present, because when this light hit them, this blue light, they all saw their future attainment. It's like they went through it. And I remember feeling, that's not fair. How come they get to see the Buddha like that? All of them, just because some light? You know what I mean? That was too be here now for me. It's like they have to earn it evolutionarily. I was like all outraged in my reaction. And then I dealt with it, and I think I still don't get it, I think. But I'm beginning. But that's, you know, that art means that one sort of expands. In a way, it's not that you just sort of naively go into the now, in a sense of like, it's like the now is like meditation. If you go into the now with an intact world picture that at the essence of you is nothingness, because you have no former life, you have no future life, your mind is only your brain, and there's consciousness in illusion, and thank God science has found that out. So that the reality in yourself that you can withdraw to when you die is like a super sleep. It's like oblivion. Because your essence, therefore, that means your essence is nothing to yourself. Now, if you think that's what will happen to you at death, is you'll become, the continuum of your awareness will be nothing forever. If that's what you think, if you have that picture, that means you have a picture that's the essence at the middle of your heart right this minute. That deadly, imprisoning, virulent poison of a worldview from all of the psychoanalytic Buddhist psychoanalysts for thousands of years is the most imprisoning possible worldview of our sensibility. So, if you go into just being here now type of thing, shut off everything else, and here I am, you know, with that at the core of the now, it will be a self-indulgent now. It will not be an enlightened now. It will be maybe hedonistic a little bit. It will end up being depressing. But if you instead have a picture of this infinite future, and it doesn't end with Buddhahood. There'll be a language you'll read in Buddhist texts where they say, oh, my life is finished, I'm done, I'm now enlightened, the nirvana, forget it, the whole thing. That's the dualistic view, which is only helpful to the very selfish person who can't imagine being infinitely interconnected with everybody forever. Because it's kind of hard, isn't it? Look, aren't there some people in this room today now who bother you? By now I must be bothering you. Can you imagine being with me forever and having to listen to this? And talk to me and me listening to you and then criticizing what you say in an irritating manner? Can you imagine? It's a little threatening, and then hundreds of me, thousands, millions of you, forever. Here we are, we never escape. Instead, if that's your vision, if that kind of thing is your vision, and you go into the now with that, and then in the now, your Buddhahood is where you really are infinitely, blissfully able to embrace all the beings forever. See? So it's not really an end, it's in fact infinite life, not the end of life. But it's the end of involuntary life. The life we live where we sort of wish we weren't quite like this or that, or it didn't happen quite like the other, or like there should be something else. They're always wishing for that. The grass is greener. All those kind of things. All those Buddhist proverbs. Like Buddha is as Buddha does. That's one of my favorite ethical ones. That's what I call my consolation prize. That's as close as I ever get to enlightenment so far. And that is the following. Nirvana, to really be ultimate reality, is not something created. It's uncreated. It's something, it's absolute, actually, by definition, like shunyata. And therefore, it's not made of parts and pieces, and therefore, it doesn't occur at a time. And therefore, it's a kind of thing that when you experience it, it's like the kind of thing that when you experience, you always knew that. Have you ever had that kind of thing? Beyond sort of supreme deja vu. It's like, oh, right, I didn't notice it before, but yes, I knew it, but I didn't really know it, It's that kind of thing. So it's the kind of thing like, when you know it's nothing new, which is why it's truly liberation. It's true liberation. It's relatively absolute. But, it's the only kind of absolute that matters. And so therefore that means that when we achieve nirvana, whenever it will be, however many lifetimes in the future, or whatever in the future of this lifetime, or whatever it may be, billions of lifetimes future could be, if we're really stubborn times. But however many it is, when we do realize that, we will realize that we were always in it. We will, because it's reality. So we will know that, and once you develop that tolerance, why do we not remember our former lives? Because they were so unbearable that like a trauma shutting off your, like becoming shock, what is it called, shock reaction. You shut off the sensation, it's too awful. So we shut off all those many lives. We died, we didn't want to die. They shot us, we were in the charging light brigade, we drowned 1,000,000 times, we were eaten by 100 gorillas. No, they don't eat you, we were eaten by 100 lions. We were trampled by rhinoceri, we were like in hell. We forgot it. Thank heaven we forgot it. But as we go toward bliss, as we get near, we are able to remember because everything is there still. The Buddha mind is everything and everywhere. Space-time continuum. Infinitely throughout it. Right? So that means that at the time when we all fully become Buddhas and fully know nirvana, we will remember this time on the nirvana side of the experience of it, not on the samsara side, not on the side of learning about nirvana and feeling not there yet. So that means that we will get to do this again. But eventually we'll remember this when we're in nirvana and we realize that this is nirvana. So therefore we'll really enjoy this retroactively. We will really, really be happy here and now, retroactively. That's what I call my consolation prize. For the fact that, I never enjoy anything. I don't. Because there's something else to do. There's something else to get done. Got to heal my stitches. If I run out of stitches, I'll probably unconsciously make more. Be upset by the offensive or something and run out and then cut my toe. I will, to save myself from the danger of being happy. The threat of happiness.